magnificent from Real Salt Lake. Diego Luna with a strike. It's opened up for Yetland. Into the area. Olatucci.
Welcome back, everyone, to Into the Riot. It's Wednesday, February 25th, and the 2026 MLS season is officially underway. I'm Mike, and I'm here with my brother Kevin. Kevin, it was a fast, physical, and anything but really ordinary in Vancouver last Saturday. The tactics, the mentality, the youth movement, the controversy, this match had it all. The real difference in this match, one of the season, Vancouver Whitecaps survived a late push and walked away with a 1-0 win at BC Place. But if you really stopped at the result, you really missed the real story. On paper, it's a 1-0 loss. In reality, and what I saw, and I think what you saw, Kevin, this was a season opener that told us a whole lot more about this squad than the scoreline could ever. Kevin, any first thoughts of this match?
Yeah, true. I mean, this wasn't just a road loss. This was an availability crisis. We had four key players, including our DP, Morgan Gilavogi, stuck waiting on visas. Diego Luna was sidelined. Lucas Engel, he was out with an injury. And still this group rolled out 5 academy products and 2 17-year-olds in a season opener on the road. And you know what? These kids did awesome. Lucas Moisa, Zach Booth, Aiden Hazarkny with their first starts. And they were full of grit. They were tough. They came out mentally strong. And the performance showed that the future of this club is not just coming, it's here.
Agreed.
The match summary, a little bit going through that. Our goalkeeper and the defense kept the match scoreless through halftime. Then Vancouver scored in the 57th minute from a cross from Jake Johnson, deflected off of Yedlin to AZ Jackson, who finished into the bottom right corner. The Whitecaps held off RSL's late push to secure all 3 points. Final score was 0-1. But we did show a lot of grit, and I think this team, they stood the test, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, for being really quote unquote shorthanded, it was really fun. It was frustrating, but it was a really fun match to watch these young, really kids. I mean, to be honest, they're kids, 17 years old. We had 2 18-year-olds and I think a 19-year-old out there. We had 5 homegrown players. It was really kind of neat to see. And
it's just crazy to see these kids have the physicality, the mentality to play, especially most of them first start in the MLS, and they seem like they have been playing for at least a season.
Yeah, it was crazy because they didn't just play a half a game. They didn't just play up in the 60th minute. They were into the 70th minute and just a little bit beyond before they came off the field.
Mm-hmm.
They put a lot of good, strong minutes in for the squad. It was fun to really watch. Way impressive. So let's talk about the 4 key players that were waiting on their visa paperwork. Morgan Gilavogi, Juan Manuel Sanabria, Stin Spearings, and Juan Jose Ares.
Yeah.
These are the big 4 names that were going to be the team. We didn't have them for the first match, and we played the Vancouver Whitecaps to a 1-0 loss. I mean,
the defending Western Conference champions,
Right. It's I don't know. I've read a lot of things that, this is disappointing, blah blah blah. Um, but I think this really shows you what the depth of this squad is really going to have this year. So it's going to be pretty exciting for the rest of the year. I'm looking forward to it. Now there's some things we're going to talk about a little later that kind of tell the real story of this match, at least in my mind. But the key injuries, and I'm not even sure what the length of these injuries are. Diego Luna suffered a knee injury in training last week. Lucas Engel, I think he's been battling a little bit of a knee injury through the preseason. And Victor Olatunji, I think he developed this eye injury in training last week too, along with Diego Luna. And I'm not sure exactly what the extent of the eye injury is. Hopefully he's ready to go. I think he should be ready to go this for the home opener on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even without these players, the squad was still fun to watch. It's a little frustrating, but you see the future, you see the depth, and it's right here, and it's looking good. The silver linings, in the middle of all the chaos with the visa issues and injuries, like I said, we saw the future. 5 academy homegrowns on the pitch, 17-year-olds making debuts, and a grit that showed that we should be excited about this squad.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, the homegrown players that we have that started, Justin Glad in the defense, Xavier Gozo, Luka Moisa, Zach Booth, and Aiden Herzakny. He's 18 years old, first ever start for RSL. Same with Moisa and same with Booth, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And Moisa was 17.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've got an 18-year-old. Our youngest he just turned 18, and I can't even imagine or envision him playing at a professional level with men, with full-grown men. That's
I know
crazy.
We were watching the game together, and I know I looked at you and was like, because they showed a picture of Luka Moisa right there with the name's dropping, the German, what's his name?
Oh, Müller.
Yeah, Müller. And I was just like, could you imagine being 17 years old and playing against someone like Müller? I mean, he's got the opportunity to play against Messi and Son, and I mean, there's just so many players that it would just be amazing. And to be 17 or 18, it's just it's amazing. And for as well as they played.
Yeah, it's a special opportunity for these kids, that's for sure.
Right. And we did have our coach, Pablo Mascheroni, praise the grit and mentality of the young squad for holding their own on a short notice, which I thought was good of them to do. It brings the confidence in these young kids.
Yeah, I mean, good old Pablo. He's never one to mince words, and he didn't really talk. At least I didn't hear him talk very, very much about the small controversy you could say. And this is something that I kind of want to touch on. Maybe not touch on, but maybe beat on. This is really quite irritating to me, but I just have to get this off my chest. I was reading a column, an article, one morning after the match, and it claimed that, and we'll keep the names out of it, but it claimed the RSL's defense struggled, quote unquote, struggled to contain Thomas Müller and Brian White, best two probably offensive players on Vancouver squad.
But yet they didn't score either.
Yeah, neither player scored. But this is the thing. I'm wondering if the author of this article watch the same game that we did.
Right.
Because if struggling to contain Thomas Müller and Brian White means allowing a world-class talent like Müller exactly one shot in the 16-minute that rattled off the woodwork, and then a second later, Brian White rebounded the shot that came off the post, and it sailed into the stands over the crossbar. Yep. If that is struggling to contain, if that's the meaning of to struggle to contain, that's the only shots they had the entire match, then I guess we've got different definitions.
Right.
In this, what's that?
I said right. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, outside of a lucky deflection in the 57th minute, this quote-unquote young and inexperienced backline held their own against some of the biggest names in the league on Vancouver's squad. So before we write articles, if we're not watching the game, let's at least watch the highlights. It's crazy to me that, we talk about a young and unexperienced backline. Fine, let's do that. The line wasn't inexperienced. You got Glad, you got Yedlin, and you got who was on the other side? I'm losing his name right now. Oh, I can't remember. But they've been in the league for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's just crazy. It's crazy. The reality of this whole thing, that the narrative is the article claimed that Real Salt Lake's defense struggled. Struggled would maybe look more like a 3-0 or a 4-0 loss. They lost 1-0. Müller had exactly one shot in the 16th minute, which hit off the woodwork. White rebounded that same shot and skied it over the bar.
Right.
So aside that chaotic sequence in the 16th minute of the match, the back line, led by Cabral, the goalkeeper, actually held a world-class attacker like Müller largely in check until the 57th minute deflection off Yeldon's backside from across. Realistically, if we're talking luck and just getting by, I don't know, maybe we ought to be looking on the other side. Vancouver comes away with the full 3 points on a 1-0 win, but how good was the goal?
That, now, and I just think, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just, that I'm thinking, you got to look past even the defense and what was really done with this team. I mean, we've already talked about the players that we were missing for one, but not only, we were playing it was a 3-4-2? Yeah.
3-5-2.
And I don't know. I don't think I've ever been more excited about a formation in the last 5 years than this one.
Yeah.
We had more pressure on this team than I think we would have ever seen from our last year's team. And we did it with players that.
No, you mean the pressure up high, right? When we lost possession in our attacking third, we were immediately pressing. Yeah. It was fun to watch. That was fun soccer to watch.
Yeah, and even seeing our wingers getting back, like that's what I don't understand. I guess with our defense being young and inexperienced, I guess it's just they got back. I felt that the team really played as a team, and I thought it was kind of crazy because we had so many new faces.
Yeah. Everybody right now is just talking and storming, and it's just this great thing that the New York Red Bull have these 2 academy players coming up and playing a lot of minutes. Well, everybody's silent about what's happening at Real Salt Lake.
Yep.
And Real Salt Lake was the founder of basically the academy in this Major League Soccer league.
Right. Yeah, and if you're reporting from a scoreline of 1-0 and read that RSL lost away from home to the League Cup finalists and figure that was just going to happen, you're missing the real story. I mean, first half, scoreless deadlock, thanks to a disciplined RSL defense. And then they get that lucky goal in the 57th. Yeah, I won't say it was a lucky goal. It was just a lucky bounce.
Yeah, a little bad luck.
Yeah, a little bad luck. And, we threw numbers at him at the end, and we were trying. Pablo was attacking. He wanted to at least get that tie with this team, and we had our chances, and we were close, but we couldn't quite get it in the net. And but honestly, like the youngsters, the team, I felt they played really well, and I was happy to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to go on a little rant myself. We did have the foul was called, and the Sabi got a yellow for it, but
you're talking about the foul on Luka Moisa?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and so hit cleats, high studs, exposed, hits above the knee, and we're not thinking that it's worthy of a red card. Even looking at it,
Yeah, it had every single attribute that the law requires for a red card. They even went to VAR and looked at it closer, and all the referees still deemed it a yellow card, that the right call was made on the pitch.
This foul happened to Moisa, 17 years old. If this could have hit more directly on the knee or with more force, it could have ruined his season.
Well,
Like, I
ruined his
just don't
career,
understand.
possibly.
Yeah, possibly. But I just don't understand how we're missing this.
Well, the horrible thing about the whole situation is they didn't call it correctly on the field.
Right.
But the aftermath, 5 days later,
Yeah.
5 days later, they now are suspending the player
And
for
fining
their
him.
next match and fining him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a red card now, but it wasn't on the field. What would have that red card done? Which came before Vancouver scored their goal in the 57th minute. What would have happened to that game if Vancouver is now down to 10 men?
Yeah. It could have changed the whole thing. Not saying that, the outcome still could have been the same, but it could have changed the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
But all in all, the team played well. I was happy with it. I love the formation. I love how we're getting back. The movement. It's just it's looking good.
For sure. I mean, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a fun season. I mean,
Definitely.
On last Saturday, we saw the depth play. Hopefully on this Saturday, we get some of these stinking visas out of the way and get all that whole situation situated. And we get some of these internationally experienced players out on the pitch, and then we see what happens.
Yeah.
I guess we need to, have a little bit cooler heads prevail right now and put a wrap on that Vancouver match. It's done and over, folks. And, we came up short, but we learned a lot about this team, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it wasn't what we wanted, but seeing the youngsters step up, the homegrowns, which is very exciting to see that this academy is working as well as it is. See them step up and absorb that kind of pressure. It Gosh, it gives me a lot of confidence that what's going to happen the rest of the summer.
Yeah.
But we got to defend the fortress. We got to be at the Riot. We got to be at America First Stadium and cheer the boys on this Saturday, February 28th. The lights come on at America First Field. Home opener against Seattle Sounders, 5:30 p.m. I'll be there on Kevin's dollar. He's taking me to the match. But if you can't make it to the match, where can we watch it? Well, thanks to Messi, it's all on Apple TV. So let's make sure we tune in if you can. If you can't, and if you don't have Apple TV, well, maybe splurge for the next 4 or 5 months, or find a friend that has it, and let's support the boys.
Definitely. So we've already kind of talked. We've already talked about the visas and things like that. So can the front office get those visas cleared for our international players? And will the altitude be the equalizer we need?
I don't know, Kevin. Does it really that make that much of a difference?
I haven't personally seen it myself, but I do believe that when a team comes from closer to sea level to our altitude, I do believe that it's harder for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, when I was younger and we went on vacation to San Diego, and we brought tennis rackets because we knew we'd have some free time and stuff, and we played tennis almost every night. Soaking wet with sweat. It was, and it was dark, but I never got tired, and it's probably because I played tennis at Utah. I had elevation, and and training at that, I think it does make a difference. You hear about them talking about it in the NFL, in the NBA. It's no different for this game of soccer. So yeah, I think that does give a little bit of a home advantage to Real Salt Lake.
Yeah. So, and I hate to do this. We'll knock on wood, but Seattle hasn't won a game in Utah on Utah soil since 2012. So we've had 14 years that we've been defending our fortress, and I have confidence that this team can keep the streak alive. Seattle remains a heavy Western Conference contender. We get to see familiar faces like Albert Rusnuk that used to play for RSL, and then Jordan Morris.
Yep. Yeah, starting a 0-win, 2-loss start of the season. No one wants to do that. So, maybe is securing 3 points at home necessary? Is it a must to validate what we did last year? It's kind of important. And how
it is.
How are we gonna what kind of things do we need to do on the field to hopefully get those 3 points awarded to us?
Control the midfield for sure. Yeah, we need to dictate the pace of the game and control that midfield. And I mean, a lot. I guess numbers will say a little different, but I felt like in that game against Vancouver, we had some real dominating times in that midfield.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we can do the same and keep the pace that we want for this game, I think we have a really, really strong chance.
Yeah, I mean, in the past against this Seattle Sounders club, historically, whoever wins that midfield, whoever dictates the pace, whoever dictates the play of the game, that's usually who comes out on top. And really, that's true for any game between any teams. But yeah, it's an important part of who gets the upper hand in each match.
Right. So if you are heading to the match, we'll see you at the Riot. If not, catch it on Apple TV, as Mike said, on the MLS Season Pass. We'll be back next week to break down the home opener and see if RSL can get the first W of 2026. Vamos.
Vamos, Real.